Back to Rosalind's kitchen. I am going to be making the pork chop that I promised I was going to make like earlier this week. It's not been a good week for anything. And yesterday I was in a lot of pain, and today I'm sort of over it, so we're just going to go ahead with it. Tonight we have pork chop. Hang on, I got my thingy. Pork chop with pine nut and Parmesan butter. It looks pretty good, I think. So I'm really excited about doing it. Now, the things that I'm going to need is a large pan, of course, a baking sheet with tin foil and spray, of course, mixing bowls, which I'm going to use small ones because you really don't need a big one. Salt, pepper, and of course olive oil, because everything's better with olive oil. Now, the things that they provided, besides the pork chops, is a shallot, butter, pine nuts, Parmesan, garlic, grape tomatoes, and something new vegetable-wise for my dad to hate, Swiss chard. I'm not quite sure. Don't remember ever eating Swiss chard before, but there's nothing like the present. So, oh, and one other thing they provided me with was red pepper flakes. You can all guess where the red pepper flakes are going. Boop! They're gone. It's a magic trick. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stem and the chard. I have to admit, this is, look, it kind of reminds me of a rhubarb, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't taste like rhubarb, you know? It's definitely colorful. My mother would approve of it being colorful, because she was a very big believer in dinner should have a complement of colors, which is why we would have like carrots and peas, because they complemented each other color-wise. And you know, you couldn't have all white anything or all red anything. You know, it all had to be unique. Now, the chard must be thinly sliced. So I'm going to cut off the ends, just because I have this thing about the ends of things being, well, kind of nasty. Whether or not they really are or not is immaterial. I feel they are, therefore they must be chopped. So, and I think I got it all now. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so now the chard stems need to be thinly sliced, and you see I have my handy dandy little mandolin slicer and my glove to protect my fingers from being sliced and diced with the chard. So, are you doing anything down there? Yeah, I guess. It did say thinly sliced, but somehow I think maybe that's thinner than it's supposed to be. We may have to do this the old-fashioned way, because it also appears that it's like celery, and it's got strings. So I will get back to you once I have finished thinly slicing the chard, but you can see where we're going with this. So, alright, so there's the chard. It's thinly sliced. So now I need to rough chop the leaves. So there. That's pretty rough. Alright, so now that I have rough chopped the leaves, I'll put them in this little bowl over here. Oh, I missed a leaf. You must be chopped too. There we go. Yay. Now, get in there. Alright, so my next thing is to clean up my cutting board so that we can go on to the next thing. Okay? Alright, so my next thing is to half and peel my shallot. So, let me look. Yeah. Remember my telling you that shallots are a little bit like two onions living in the same skin? Well, they are. So, let me peel this little sucker, get it out of its two skins. Get out of its next skin. This one seems to have a little bit more skin than the other one did. Come out of there. Please, seriously. There we go. Alright, now that my shallots are all peeled, now the return of the mandolin and the return of the glove. Now I must thinly slice the shallots. So, a lot of my shallot just ended outside the bowl. I think maybe I was getting a little too excited with the whole slicing thing. But that can be handled. Just pick up the pieces. Fortunately, I just cleaned my cooking prep area. Yay, there's my shallots. Alright, so moving right along. Yeah, good. Alright, now it is time to mince the garlic. Who shall I say the garlic represents today? Lynn really enjoyed my saying that it represented sort of the Khan's upper management the last time. But there are so many people that do so many unkind things. Unfortunately, a lot of those that do the unkind things tend to be liked by people for whatever reason. Like people who pay other people to tell lies that supposedly happened 30 years ago. And that's what I think of them. Alright, so now that my garlic has been minced, now I must have my potatoes, my tomatoes. Potatoes, tomatoes, you know. Let me see, how am I having them? Okay. It appears that I'm having them lengthwise. You know, they never mention which direction you're supposed to have them in. They just say half them. And they seem to forget that there's more. Yay, I didn't like that. That one looked horrible. Okay, anyway, there's more than one plane that you can half them in. There's the horizontal, but then the vertical, but then there's also the horizontal, which could also be. But I think in this case, they mean for me to cut them vertically, as opposed to medially on the medium. Come back! One of my tomatoes is trying to flee the scene. It's not good. There we go. Have tomatoes. And now we take our pork chops and we must pat them dry and season them. So, hang on. Alright, so the pork chops have been patted dry. Now, before I can put a pinch of salt on them, I have to clean my hands so that I don't get any germs in the salt. I just watched the movie Deadpool today. I had not seen it before. It was very funny. Kind of rude, but you know, very funny just the same. If you have humor for that, which apparently I do. I mean, I didn't like crack up a lot, but I did like enjoy the movie and its fourth wall breaking and insult making, and the fact that it did not take itself seriously or pretty much anybody else. Alright, so let's see. Now that we've been salted and we've been peppered, now we are going to move over to the stove to start with the cooking process. So here we go. Alright, so my pine nuts are to be put in a pan over medium heat and allowed to heat for a couple of minutes. Until they become aromatic. Again, not quite sure how to tell when it's aromatics without a sense of smell. But we'll see. So after they have become aromatic, I am to add 1/3 of the butter and heat it up, and then put them in a bowl. So, alright, so I kind of burned the pine nuts, so I'm hoping that won't affect them too badly. Now, put my pork chops in. I just went to put the bread on the table, and when I came back, my pine nuts were going black. It's really depressing. So, anyway. Anyway, so now the pork chops must be seared for 3 minutes and then transferred to a baking sheet. After that, I will bake them for 8 to 10 minutes. In my case, it's probably going to be about 8. While they are roasting, I'm going to add the remaining butter, half the Parmesan, reserving the rest for the veggies, and a pinch of pepper to the bowl with the pine nut mixture, thoroughly combine and set aside. So, we shall return. Alright, so the pork chops have been heated. I put them in the thing, seared up, and I'll put them in the oven. Alright, so it says I don't need to wipe it clean. While I was waiting on that, I mixed up my butter. Now, to cook the veggies. Alright, so, add a little bit more olive oil. I add the shallots. I add the chard stems. I add the garlic. And I stir and let them cook. Oh, hang on. All right, about 3 minutes. Actually, maybe sooner than that, because these guys are looking pretty done already. Nothing like a little olive oil and a lot of garlic. Alright, so now I will add, hang on, to lightly charred, kind of like my pine nuts. Alright. Hi guys, are you getting lightly charred? Yeah, you look charred to me. Okay, there. Have some leaves. And have some tomatoes. Not homegrown, but tomatoes just the same. So, now I stir them in until they are lightly wilted. Like I said, this should be interesting. Alright, so alright. Alright, you're looking wilted now. Alright, now I will put in the remaining Parmesan, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and if I was going to use the red pepper flakes, I would have used them now, because it says use it according to taste, which in my case is none. So now I shall remove that and let it chill over here just a little bit. Not seriously chill, you mind, but all right, let's see. And our butter is there. One note I like to make: when you are using a styrofoam bowl, don't pour hot things in it. Okay. That was one thing. And my pine butter mat is looking good. Now let me get the water, and then we can start putting this on a plate. All right, so this is what it should look like. And because my father complains about no potatoes, I made some French fries for him. But this is what it looks like now. So we will see what it tastes like. Well, the final word on this one is excellent. Dad apparently has encountered Swiss chard before. It grows up in the North Country, and his mother fed it to him. I'm not sure if this was a good thing or not, but overall, this meal was excellent. So we will definitely put this in the excellent cookbook. I will probably see you tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to be making, but it shall be a surprise for all of us. Till then, bye.